What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Avengers Endgame. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. So we are currently doing a giveaway for an Infinity Gauntlet. You know, the gauntlet that has all the lights on it when it moves. You know, the one that a lot of the Avengers Infinity War cast were promoting just before the Avengers Infinity War movie came out. We are going to be giving one of them away at the end of March, and they are quite expensive. I believe they retail at £135. We're going to be giving away one at the end this month. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and also let me know what did you enjoy about trailer 2 in the comment box down below. So it's Thursday. The Empire magazine is out. It's officially out, and let's look at it. The cover is pretty basic. It's the same cover that leaked online. We have Hulk at the back, we have Black Widow, we have Thor, we have Iron Man in the middle, we have Captain America, and we have Hawkeye. So we already know that this movie is going to focus on the original 6 Avengers. That is why they did not get dusted at the end of Avengers Infinity War. So let's get into this exclusive interview with Empire Magazine. I'm not going to overlay images from Empire Magazine because that's just disrespectful to the magazine. If you really want to read it yourself, go and buy it because it's not very much. Let's see how much it is. It's like £5 in this country, so I don't know what that is in dollars, but not very much. So what is interesting is it starts off with this. What do the Russo bros want you to know going into their new movie? It is called Avengers Endgame. It is a sequel to last year's Avengers Infinity War. It is 22 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the sprawling experiment in the long form of visual storytelling that started back in 2008 with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, although nobody likes to talk about the second one. That's it. No, that's really it. That's all you want to know. And this is interesting because this goes into a plot in the interview where it essentially says they didn't really want to market it that much. That's why they didn't confirm the title till December. The title doesn't really make any difference. I honestly still think Mr. Kevin Feige, etc. were overhyping the title. But it's interesting why they had issues marketing this movie, because realistically, they don't want to give that much away. It goes on to say this. Joe Russo, we talked about the scale of the marketing. That's the thing. The most important to us is that we preserve the surprise of the narrative. When I was a kid and I saw The Empire Strikes Back at 11 a.m. on the day it opened and sat there until 10 p.m. watching it back to back to back, it was so profoundly moved me because I didn't know a damn thing about the story I was going to watch. We are trying to replicate this experience. So that is interesting, see? Fair play to them. I mean, when we made a video saying misleading trailers, it's not actually misleading trailers because they just don't want to ruin the movie. So they're putting certain scenes in the trailers that won't appear in the movie because they're trying to preserve the movie. They're trying not to ruin their own movie, which is actually fair play. So I'm sorry that I said misleading trailers. I think that's out of context. It's like they're just trying to preserve the wow factor of when you go into the movie. Obviously, everyone that walked into Avengers Infinity War knew how it was going to go down, but no one knew that half of the Avengers were going to be decimated, were going to disappear, almost like there were nothing. And that's kind of a theme throughout this whole interview. It also goes on to say that the snap apparently wasn't going to happen until Avengers Endgame in the first act, but I am really happy that they include it in this movie because then you have like the 1 year gap, the 1 year thinking, how are they going to reverse this? And what is interesting is because it said when they did screen testing to see the authentication of reactions, it said the best reactions after were like, I hated it, but loved it. I hated it, but I understand why it had to happen. The Empire Strikes Back is clearly a huge model for the Russo bros, but the ending of Avengers Infinity War is Empire times 1,000. After the Empire, you're at least left with no hope. So it's pretty interesting, pretty interesting. The Russos have a favorite writing edge, which is really weird, right? Because it's like writing yourself into a corner, put yourself into a place in the storytelling where you have no idea how to get out of this moment, says Anthony Russo, which prompts a chuckle from his brother, Joe. That's exciting to us when you put yourself in the position and go, all right, we have no idea how the story can move forward from where we are. we've just killed half the characters. It's fair to assume that the Russos and screenwriter Marcus have managed that, although McFeel acknowledges with a grain that corners are difficult with Avengers Endgame. In fact, Joe Russo said the script for Avengers Endgame was completed in a better shape much earlier than Infinity War. See, this is really interesting because essentially what it is saying is they had the finished script for Avengers Endgame before Infinity War. So everyone that said the title was never, it was like Annihilation and was never Endgame. It's like they literally say in this interview they had the script for Endgame, which is the end of the Infinity Saga, they're now calling it, before they had the script finish for Avengers Infinity War, which is absolutely insane because you got to think these two movies were essentially filmed back to back, which is something they've never done before. And it says here, with Endgame being filmed back to back between the two Endgame with very different films, Infinity War had 23 people on the poster that dictated a certain type pace and a certain type of movie. There's only 9 people on the poster for Endgame, so maybe you can do a different type of storytelling. Endgame is clearly not a film that's going to shy away from addressing the aftermath of Infinity War. The jumping off point for the movie is the question, how do you move forward when you've lost like this, says Anthony Russo. What is the way forward from that kind of experience? So as the movie starts, we see a world left in utter debris by the snap. Steve Rogers is unsure of his place in the world, attends a survivors meeting. Thor, who came closest to killing Thanos but failed, is not blaming anybody but himself, according to screenwriter. He does have a lot of guilt. Tony Stark, stranded, God knows where, how many light years away, on Thanos' home planet of Titan, is struggling to make it back to Earth, running low on oxygen, food, and everything is in like a cobalt-blue state. It's pretty interesting. They have really tackled this quite interesting in this article. Although there aren't really any... Oh, right, there is a major reveal here, so to speak. So screenwriter Steven says, it's just the biggest, ultimate. It will be a movie about how the surviving Avengers take the fight to Thanos, sitting there all smug on his allotment. The details of the fight back are jealousy guarded, but there are expectations, there are theories. They mainly revolve around the unexpected importance of the Ant-Man, as last seen in a micro-sized parallel dimension known as the Quantum Realm. We know from the trailer he gets out presumably due to one of these time vortexes. So it's pretty interesting that it kind of confirms that the story is based around the surviving 6 Avengers who, ironically, will most likely not make it into the next phase. I think it's fair to say that Steve Rogers, Captain America, is dusted, is gone. I think it's fair to say that Tony will either retire or would die. Thor will survive. Black Widow will survive. Hulk, Universal deal, it's over because he had a 3-part deal for Thor 3, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. Hawkeye, it's all game. So it's fair to say there will be a dramatic shift in the MCU after this movie. And then it goes on to say that there's like the wild card, so to speak, is Brie Larson because she's the most powerful Avenger. She's coming back looking for Fury. So what can we expect? Then Kevin Feige goes on to say, the Infinity Saga, we wanted to bring a conclusion to a series of movies in a way that never been done before, says Feige. Harry Potter had an ending because there are only so many books. Lord of the Rings too. But we thought 22 movies in, wouldn't it be fun to bring some ending to the storyline, which is very fascinating. So throughout this miniature interview, I guess you could say, they do interview Paul Rudd, who plays Ant-Man. What can you say about Endgame? Nothing. I can say nothing. We could just sit here in silence. Maybe we should. That was a good film, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Never heard so many dogs barking in the background in my life. So yeah, essentially they're trying to dig for clues of what to find in Endgame, but essentially everyone they ask, they literally say nothing. So it is to be expected. Obviously, they're under contract. They're not really going to give away a lot. What is interesting is Scarlett Johansson does kind of say something. Have you seen any of Endgame? I have. From what I can tell, what's foremost in the Russo bros' mind is really delivering something that is poetic and beautiful Valentine to decade of madness. So, yeah, they're not really that much. They do interview the actor that plays Okoye from the Black Panther movie, but realistically, he doesn't really say much. And then it goes on to say that it's no coincidence that the 6 original Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, were all spared, and it seems like it's part of their plan because they all failed in the last movie. So essentially, they're all going to have to club together to deliver that final blow to Thanos. But if you were a gambling person, you'd get very short odds from us on Steve Rogers making it through. Yeah, so like everyone seems to think that Steve Rogers is going to die. But what is fascinating is obviously we know that there is another phase of movies. We know we've got Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and they're nowhere to be seen. It kept set for Captain Marvel. So when Captain Marvel does arrive in the MCU, that is going to be very, very interesting. They wanted to leave on a high. I've been working day and night for 7 years to make sure we deliver on that promise, says Joe Russo. The film has clearly taken an immense toll on them. Listen to the incredible stories of human sacrifice and try not to shed a tear. Typically at this point in the process, we start ordering banana split at least twice a week, laughs Joe Russo. That's our stress release. We've forgotten to do that. So there are like aspects of this that are pretty interesting. And towards the, like it's literally guys, it's not very long. So I do suggest that you do go on Empire's magazine and order it. And it essentially just says that there will be a lot changing. The MCU will keep going after Endgame and will probably outlive us all. Feige has already spoken about the possibility of Jack Kirby's godlike beings, the Eternals, entering the fray at some point. Well, if the Disney stroke Fox merger deal finally gets... See, obviously, they've got Disney now. Disney has Fox now. So this article was written before the merger closed this week, and it was before Trailer 2. So sadly, this interview will probably disappoint a lot of people because realistically, yes, it does reveal major plot points that they're going to try and take Thanos off, and Ant-Man is the key. So essentially, yes, it does deliver on some scales, but essentially, if you do read it, you might be a little bit disappointed. Moving on after a decade and change is never easy. It's something Feige doesn't seem ready to do. He remains very much at the helm of the MCU, but the Russos are already preparing for a life after Marvel. The brothers have set up their own studio and taken Marcus and McFeel with them, making them co-presidents of the story. They've already got a number of films on the go. So it's very interesting. So I don't think we're going to be seeing much of the Russo brothers after this movie, but it is have a little snippets here and there, nothing really major, but I thought I'd make a video for you guys about it, like discussing the comment box down below. But yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't really buy it. There isn't really much context, but it is interesting to see how everything was set up much sooner than you actually thought, and the motivation coming behind the Infinity Gauntlet, knowing that it was about the Infinity Stones all the time, the motivation behind kind of how it's got similarities to Back to the Future 3 and Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars is pretty interesting. So guys, like always, please like, subscribe and comment. It was a bit disappointing that we didn't get any new images because that's a pretty cool thing when you get exclusive. You do expect images. But there will be some more exclusives before the movie drops. I believe there's the Entertainment Weekly one coming out shortly. So hopefully that will have some new images and some new kind of context. But realistically, the Russos don't want to ruin the movie for you. So if they do misdirect you in the trailers, that's because they're trying to stop yourself and stop themselves from ruining the movie for us guys. So we should really thank them. So like always guys, please like, subscribe and comment. Drop all your ideas down below. That would be cool. Got a bunch of new content coming. We did go and watch Shazam. We went to a special kind of VIP screening. Got to meet Zachary. Got to meet the director, the producer, Mark Strong. But obviously the embargo does not lift for the Shazam movie. I think it's Sunday night. So I will drop a video on Shazam as soon as I can. But like quickly just speaking, Shazam is a fantastic, fun, hilarious, yet serious toned movie, and everyone is going to love it. One of my favorite DC movies yet. It's so much fun. Can't wait to watch it again. So thanks again to Warner Bros for inviting me out to watch that pretty cool movie. But like always guys, please like, subscribe and comment. Thanks for all the support on the channel. Positive or negative, it helps the channel grow. So anyway guys, I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.